Hello, Cindy here. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm going to jump right in here and talk about a really hot topic. Should I call or should I not call? And I wish it was a yes or no answer because it truly does depend on the situation, how well you know him, and just really where you're at in the context of the relationship. So there's that. I'm going to talk to you guys about 3 of the most common scenarios I hear about and speak into them around what is the best next action step. Also, I invite you, if you have any questions around this or comments, please feel free to ask them during this live because I'm always happy to answer your questions. I've been, a love and relationship expert for over 15 years now, and it is my pleasure to support you on this pathway. Okay, so quick story for you guys before we dive into the 3. I have this client, and when we first started working together, she's very driven, she's an entrepreneur, and maybe you guys can relate to that. You're powerful, you know who you are, you've got a really great career path, and you're driven in that direction. You know where you're going, you have goals, all of that. Well, what she had done in the past was that her career life spilt over into her love life. So she would, try to get answers. She would take the lead. She would pursue men, inevitably call them. So when I first started working with her, I coached her around not calling men. I'm going to try to make this story a little bit shorter. And she eventually met a really amazing guy who she's still with. And she has almost always let him call. I think the first time she text messaged him was about 6 months into their relationship, and it was because it was his birthday. And I don't want to say she didn't call him back, because she did. And there's a strong reason to let him lead. So, depending on who you are, the way that you operate, what your tendencies are, what your emotional triggers are, because some women get really triggered if the guy doesn't call them in the time frame that they think he should, and they feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I should call him. Maybe he's expecting me to call him. So I'm going to speak into, the thing is, if a man tells you he's going to call, he's going to call. And, with my client, while she does reach out to him a little more now around their plans, it is almost always that he reaches out to her first. And as relationships develop, those things can shift. However, this is the one thing I will tell you. The man should always be reaching out a little bit more to you. The man always gets to reach out a little bit more to you. Here's why. Men are hunters by nature, and there are some variety in between. Some men don't, aren't as driven to hunt. However, they all have it in them. They will call you. It's just not always on your time frame. So I hope that helps. And it also makes him miss you. It makes him more interested and intrigued by you, throughout all of your relationship. And this is not a game. This is strategy. There's a cause to, not a cause. It's important to have a little bit of mystery sometimes. It's important to have your own life, have things going on, and he doesn't always know what that is. And I'll speak more into that later if you guys are interested. So the number one thing around calling. So many of you guys are out there online dating. You might have a phone call with a gentleman, hopefully on your Google Voice number or an app that you've downloaded. Please do not give out your phone number online to a stranger. Please. Unless you know him through somebody. Anyways, that's my safety tip for the day. So he calls you, you guys talk for a few minutes, you're making plans to meet for lunch, let's say, and he says, great, how about if we meet on Saturday? It's Tuesday. How many times have you agreed upon that, and then Wednesday comes, Thursday comes, Friday comes, he doesn't call you, he doesn't confirm, he doesn't give you the name of the spot, and you're left feeling anxious. You're left going, well, should I call him? Should I not call him? Here's the deal. In that circumstance, I'm going to tell you not to call him. Here's why. Because if a guy is really taking this area of his life seriously, he's going to call you, he's going to follow up and make plans with you. He's going to try to meet you. However, I will give you some support right now on how to alleviate that mystery. So you don't feel like, okay, Saturday's rolling around and he hasn't confirmed and there's a whole lot of ambiguity there. So the number one thing you want to do is say, awesome, I'm really looking forward to meeting you. And I do have a pretty busy weekend. I do have a pretty busy weekend coming up. How about, would it be okay with you? So instead of leading, ask the question, would it be okay with you if we planned where and when so that I can just plan on meeting you? And again, if he's really interested in meeting, he's following through with, he will take the time, the extra 2 to 5 minutes to follow through to make the plans on where to meet you. I hope that helps because it alleviates a lot. And most of the time they'll go, oh yeah, I'm planning to meet her at, Tender Greens at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., whatever. So they've got it down. They'll typically confirm, or you plan on meeting him there. I'm a nerd. I would say, oh gosh, awesome. I've got it on my calendar. I can't wait to meet you. Super excited. Obviously, let me know if anything comes up. So the other question that's behind that is if the guy makes plans with you and you hadn't done that and he doesn't call, doesn't text, you don't meet him, and he comes back around. Here's the deal. Don't write him off because things do come up and happen in life. We live in a very distracted world. So, welcome him back and say, gosh, you know what? It's a bummer we didn't get to meet last week. I even do that with my girlfriends. I have a girlfriend that we've been trying to connect for the last few days. And we had planned to connect on Sunday. Neither one of us followed up. She said, gosh, she sent me a message. I'm so sorry we didn't connect. I tried calling her. She tried calling me. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is that life happens from time to time, and trust that that's what happened. Open your heart up to, that little error. And the other thing too to keep in mind, especially if you've never met the person before, men don't care as much. They're not as attached to you if they've never met you before. They're not as attached to the outcome. So there's that. Okay, so the next one I hear about a lot is, should I call him after the first date? Should I call him and say, thank you so much, I had such an amazing time. The oysters and the half shell were phenomenal. Whatever. The answer to that question, for the most part, is no. Now, there are different scenarios because there are different types of personalities. If you are the type of person that you've gotten feedback in the past that men aren't really certain whether or not you're interested in them, a follow-up call may not be a bad idea. However, I don't want to confuse you because a confused mind can do nothing. However, and if that seems to be an ongoing theme with you, even your friends, ask them for feedback. There are some people that it's an easy shoe-in, you can tell. I used to be told in the past from men that they wouldn't always be certain if I was interested. And sometimes, quite frankly, I wasn't sure either. So fake it till you make it and give affirmation during the date. Because if you meet him and you think, well, this guy could be interesting. I really don't know yet. I'm open to getting to know him. Great. Well, make sure that you're smiling. Make sure that you have eye contact on the date. Make sure that you're authentic. If you're a little bit nervous, tell him. The other thing too, at the end of the date, so you can alleviate actually calling him, hey, I had a really nice time with you. I sure hope we get to do it again. I sure hope I get to see you soon. Any form of that. Look at him in the eye, give him a hug. Thank you again so much. That's sincere. And, if you're looking to be a little bit flirty or you're joking around about something, give him affirmation. Guys are nervous too. So you could say something along the lines of, gosh, I had such a great time. You're hilarious. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your one-liner jokes. Sorry, I don't have any, but I'll always laugh at your jokes and I might make a joke about your joke. So, and if you were to ask me out again this weekend to that comedy club you were talking about, I might say yes. So being, opening up the conversation to, letting him know you're going to say yes. You're an absolute affirmative, shoe in the door. So I hope that helps you. That's something that popped up for me, when it comes to online. When women are really excited to meet someone, they see his photos, it seems to be a little bit of witty banter going back and forth, which is a good thing. They can, women will start to create stories. They'll get anxious, be like, oh, I should call him. What should I do? And it's, lean back, relax, because, when men they do want to hunt. And it's not always going to happen in the time frame that you think. Keep the door open. And, the other thing is too, if you're looking for the phone call to be turned into a date, especially transitioning from online to offline, saying something along the lines of, hey, I find it easier to see if there's more of a connection by meeting in person. Let's, let me know if you're up for a quick phone chat before we meet. I coach this into my clients, like I pound it into their head because, it gives men a little bit of relief, especially if they're just in this messaging mode. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about tethering, what that is as well. So there's that piece. The third one that I hear a lot is, between the 5th and the 10th date, when you're, in this transitional period of, you're early dating, you might be transitioning potentially into an exclusive relationship. You may or may not be exclusive yet. Do you call him? Well, it depends upon you. For the most part, I would say no. And here's why. Because again, men are hunters by nature. They want to be a little bit curious about you. And they also want to feel, they want to feel like, okay, I'm doing most of the pursuing. However, so there's a however in that. If you want to call him to confirm I would, maybe confirm something, or an idea that popped up in your head, or calling him back, or wanting to share something that you were really excited about, sure, go for it. Here's the deal. Do not call him a lot. I was doing a little bit of extra research, and, I knew the answer, but I text messaged a number of men that are friends of mine, and I asked them how they feel about women calling them in early dating. And almost all of them said, I feel fine about it as long as they don't call me too much. As long as, because there's a transitional period where you guys are getting to know each other, and he hasn't fully brought you into his world. And with men, they're not always wanting to talk on the phone at a drop of the hat. So, if you're calling him, whenever you see something that reminds you of, a conversation that you have, you could be calling him once a day or 10 times a day. You don't want to do that. However, if, utilizing some of that intuition is good. If he's reaching out to you a lot via text or sending you things, different people are more into different things. Some men like texting because they frankly don't really like to talk on the phone. They might actually talk a lot in their careers, in their business life. So they don't want to feel that pressure. So just, actually getting to know them and, seeing what works. But, this is a big thing. He hasn't fully invited you in. So if you're not fully in there, calling him at the grocery store, asking him about chicken or fish, it's not, you're not quite there yet. But as you transition into the next level, maybe you're in engagement, maybe you're in, you guys are deciding whether or not to move in together, you're spending a lot of time together, you've transitioned into that next phase. It's a little bit of a different story, but still, he should be the one that reaches out to you more. I hope this helps you guys. And I'm happy, again, to answer any questions before or after. I'll direct message, and I'll be even happier to, go live on air to answer any of your most commonly asked questions. Would that be helpful to you if we did like a Freestyle Friday or something where you get answers to all of your questions around love, relationships, men, all that good stuff? I am sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, also, one more thing. I wanted to share this. Please, if you know a woman that could use some support around this, should I call, should I not call, please share this message. My goal is to support as many women as possible in, really creating their own luck and love. I know it's possible for everyone. Freestyle Friday, Lori, you like that? Hey, Kate. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Okay, so share this message. We'll also have it up in YouTube. Feel free to ask anything you'd like. And until tomorrow, I will see you then. Bye.